I thought I would be streaming early today. Not 20 minutes late. I thought for sure I'd be streaming early today. But that's not the case. Yeah, my wife's out of town and I had to like hold my dog's food bowl. He's protesting. I had to hold the dog's food bowl so that he would actually start eating and realize that he was hungry. So he started eating, he realized he was hungry. Took him a little while today, but he ate his food. I'm running. But it's all good. Hopefully you guys are doing good. Thanks for watching these VODs. No telling when it's actually going to be up. But thanks for watching it nonetheless. Before I go on vacation, before I go back to the US, we got the funeral and stuff like that going on. So before I go back to the US next week, I guess that leaves tomorrow and the day after, Sunday, to try to get some of the old VODs posted. Yeah. I could try to do that. We'll see if I succeed. Hey, Siren, Unchained, XB, what's up, Justin Beard? About to run out of high-speed data. Hope it comes back up soon. You got limited high-speed data on your phone? Is that what's up? I just restarted my machine, which has also added another couple minutes. Me not being on time. Septozakar. Sorry, I'm interacting with my source tree or whatever on this other window, and I'm completely, it just like froze everything up. I'm completely blocking. Yeah. Hey Nick. Hey Liz Biscuit. Longilla. My wife doesn't know what a Gila monster because she's German and they're not aware of it. Quixana, hello. Hopefully watching some intellectually stimulating development streams. No pressure. Yeah. Okay, good luck. That is a bummer, Justin Beard. Nick, I said hello, right? Get on it, sneaky Russian. Okay. Yeah, sorry. I'm still setting everything up. Because I was running late, because I was feeding my dog. I'm still clicking on stuff and open. Nick said I'm so tired. Dude, I imagine. Oh, you fell asleep a couple times during nap this morning, right? Or were you just being sneaky and quiet? Because we were talking to you. Your background is great, but the epic sword from last time was better. They made that sword. Nick said absolutely fell asleep. I'm sorry, man. Hopefully it was a good sleep though. Like hopefully you fell asleep enjoying the conversation. But I told Hamad that I told Hamad that you're probably like, just, I was so into it, but a 5-hour lore, 5-hour lore meetings at 1 a.m. It's tough, man. I think you slept through the part where once it hits kind of like I'm taking my socks off, guys, because it's hot in here, and I tend to always wear like kind of thicker wool socks. And my feet are so hot right now. I'd put a camera down there, but we're saving that until we are just completely out of money. Yeah, so we start to hit this point a little bit later in the conversation that, man, we start going back and forth. And I'm always like, I start to get hangry about like, because like we'll have these lore discussions from like 8 a.m. my time till noon. Today it went till 1 p.m. And start going back and forth, and I'm getting hangry. Poor Hamad. You recorded it all. Perfect. Oh my god. As we were doing it, I was like, man, it would have been good to record this. Are you going to hear lore today? No. No, you're not. I know you probably have questions, but a lot of what we're doing is we're trying to build up enough lore in the background that the game, when you get in, you start digging and keep digging, you find more and more and more, and over time, over the years, you find more, and you know, and it just if it's a payoff, I guess. I mean, it feels like one of those things that's a payoff. We'll find hopefully the right amount to kind of get you engaged in the world and that we can present or whatever. I'm gonna say something, it may be a little controversial, it's just my point of view, but I think sometimes when games don't have a lot, there's probably so many obvious examples of where this is a full of shit example, but I feel like, and I've done this when I was doing like pitches early in my career, like year 1, year 2, probably even further, year 3, 4, like pitches. I'm pitching a game to executives, and it's so lore, right? It's like, here's all the background, and here's my story, and is it really that, you know? I know for a fact that my stories weren't good. They're reading this and go, oh shit, we got the next Tolkien over here, guys. Let's go ahead and fucking throw money at him. Like, no, it's gameplay, it's world building, all that stuff. But I'm probably articulating this poorly, but to me, it's exciting that you guys play the game and enjoy the game moment to moment, and you're just like, oh man, you're engaged in the world already. You're enjoying how the game feels. You're being social already. You're doing all the things that the game needs to do. And then that's built on top of lore, right? And that you're able to discover lore. And we are heavily invested in lore. As a matter of fact, we'll be posting a job. I mean, it's unpaid, so I don't like saying that. We'll be posting an open role soon, kind of on this front. We take our lore, and we take, you know, the presentation of that lore extremely serious. And we do a lot of discussion about lore. And we have discussions like today that are just kind of as I'm able to find like Hamad's time in the past, and Nick was in there today, like, you know, just anytime we can get hours with Hamad going through it, it's like our ability to like get together and just talk for hours and pull out the, you know, usable creative meat is it's a treat. It's important. So anyway, creative storytelling is fun. I love it when lore dictates the rules to some degree. I mean, they go back and forth, right? But what I'm saying with regards to lore, maybe again I'm explaining this poorly because you're saying like lore is important, lore will be real fun. What I'm trying to say, I guess, is if we just go, here is the game lore, let me tell you what you're going to see in game, and we're posting these big blocks of text for you to read, like we're posting our, you know, our little Robert Jordans or whatever. It's wouldn't it be better if you discovered that in game? Do you really want to see like our quasi fantasy novel on a website, or do you want to go in the game and experience it? And if the response is post it on a website, you're fired. Get out of here. We're gonna time you out. So don't. Both now. No, Elron. But I mean, we've got little blurbs and stuff, and as we've got more stuff like zones and things like that posted on the website and stuff, we'll give you blurbs. It's just, and take it from a guy who, when we were doing marketing for Planes of Power and the other expansions I worked on, I came up with in that whole approach of like, you know, painting lore write up, and then the next week a new painting and lore write up, and there's so much like stuff plastered on there, and I just I don't know. Nicodemus, why did you time out, Sarah? And why are there 6 messages deleted by a moderator? Did a bot creep in here, or what's going on? Okay. So that was a playful timeout, but it wasn't Saren's messages that got deleted, right? Why does it say 6 messages deleted by moderator? Is it a joke gone awry, Nicodemus? Hey, check. Sarenth, you're allowed to chat. I think Nicodemus was trying to bust your balls and inadvertently deleted your stuff. More to my point, Darius says, I was watching the EQ streamer comment how it was kind of dumb that ogres couldn't wear certain pieces of armor, or that Ixars couldn't wear plate Rikun art. I like those kind of lore-based perspectives. Okay, well, I see what you're saying there. Yeah, I mean, there's that tendency for that to be baked into a lot of the discussion. Not discussion. A lot of, you know, like when things come up and we're looking at something like traits for. So. All right, sneaky Russian. Any screenshots of new areas in development? We probably should do something game related this evening, right? I've pulled the latest. Do I want to? I haven't even tried today. Let me. We may run around to a couple places real quick, and if so, we'll do it in the client if possible. I really wanted, honestly, I'm super tired. Not as tired as Nick, but I'm super tired today because Jasmine had to get up so early. Hey, what's up, Dark Side? And I was thinking I just kind of want to play the game, but we've got so much work to do. cancel that. In terms of lore, will there be any short story threads that only exist during these testing periods that will end by early access? Probably not. I mean, some things that you encounter may change by early access, but it's not like they're an intentional pre-EA content that we're putting in intentionally seeking to remove. We've got enough to do just to get EA out the door. Are character wipes coming before next playtest? And please no. I haven't heard anything to that effect. I haven't seen Nick and Ollie discussing that, so they're probably safe so far. We'll see. It's been cool. It's been cool that you guys have been able to progress the way you have. It gives us an opportunity to see some other content in action. Paizo Visalo says, experienced my first M&M stress test last weekend. I'm hooked. Cannot wait for the next playtest. Right on. If you aren't wiping, will there be a repair of all the tunes with empty spellbook? There may be a more automated repair than what we were doing, but Nick and I believe maybe? Well, I know Nick was fixing people all weekend. If there's a way to automate that prior to the next stress test, that'd be a nice load off of Nick and whoever else is doing it shoulders. Uptown Coyote said, everyone working on MMORPG should check out Morrowind's journal. What do you like about it? Oh my gosh. I don't know if it's a sleepy booger or what. My right eye just went goofy. I showed my brother-in-law the game the other day and installed the corpses outside the city, and he said you guys should have called it Monsters of Manslaughter instead. That has a charm to it. Content is skewed now with the highest level melee having unmatched DPS on the end of playtest mobs, then abnormal DPS for leveling as a result. Content is skewed in all sorts of different ways. That is part and parcel with where we're at in development right now. Monsters of Manslaughter should be the name of a PvP-based event y'all run. I was really surprised that PvP server was allowed to train people and wipe them. I mean, listen, it's a stress test. And it's a PvP server. Can you root other players yet? Can root and snare. Yeah. Some people got mad at me when I was the GM of Talon Zek. And they were training the shit out of each other in, I think, fear. They were just training each other in fear, and like started petitioning. And the people that petitioned were like, "Oh, well, they trained us." I'm like, "All right, well, do you have root? Like, can you not do something about it? Do you have monks? Can you train them back?" By the way, welcome, Nerf. Alright, so can I actually get in? Let me see if I can get in first, and if not, then I'll just run through the scene. So anyways, to end the previous discussion, because I don't want you guys to think I don't like lore, given how much damn work I've put into lore. I'm not saying I'm the only one, obviously. I always hate any I statements. I statements always make me a little, ugh. I don't want you to ever think I'm like fucking trying to be like, oh, I did. You know, it's like, but trust me, we've been working on lore in some form or fashion since before we had capsule people. So Sean's a one-man show. Exactly, that's what I'm saying. I do it all. You saw my art last stream. Do you know that? Whoop. You're not going to see that. Whoop. Stone. Fall in. Whoop. Yeah. Did you not see my art? Do you want to see that the? You want to see what the team did with that? That jank-ass sword made my day. Yeah, yeah, keep talking. Look at how you just spelled sword. Jank-ass S-W-O, or sorry, R-O-D. I might not be able to make a good illustration of 3D graphics in MS Paint, but I can spell sword. How dare you? Where's this S-Rod at? Here we go. So anyways, while I was still here slaving away at the stream in the stream kitchen, making streams for everybody, there's a whole long ass thread of, here's the original concept if you weren't here. My wife saw it, she was like, is that supposed to look like a penis? It would be incredible if the sword's canon name was S-W-O-R-D. Alright, so we went from this glorious concept to quickly being modeled. We got this thing modeled quicker than the stuff that we need to get done for the game to be finished. And that was noted, artist. That was noted. Okay. Here's where we ended up. It's got filigree, it's got sparkles, it's got gems. This is where the team messes up. This is where the team messes up, and they're like, when they're being smartasses, we can get stuff done instantly. This was instant. This was minutes after the stream ended and I went to bed. I think Sean's perfect sword should be a very rare chance outcome of some sword crafting recipe. Oh my god. Unchained sounds good regarding video. There were some wild endless trains in Telekir. Ashura side, this I can imagine that place is train central. Why does it look sick though? I don't know. My I'm not saying that there might be a it might be a game. Whoop. I'm hiding that from you. I flashed that so you can mine that info later. Dude, these guys put it's got particle effects on it. So stream is a distraction. Stop steaming. Is my stream steamy to you? Does my stream make you hot? Steaming. This is something to log into. Hey, Jimster. Will religions play a role in access to special quest items and such? Yes. To what degree? Logistics will dictate, but there'll be some stuff. Holy shit, that's great. Jank type meta into it. Sean's throwing shade live. That's the name of the game. That sour is best in slot. Hey, Keebs. Is alcohol tolerance an item attribute? That's a good question. Oh. Have it do bash damage, not slash or pierce. Oof. It's for your brains. Bow rod requires 50 alcohol tolerance to wield. Yeah, so if you craft a sword while drunk, it should make this instead. What are you trying to say? It's not a work of art. Damn, why is it so dark? Just kidding. Just kidding. You know what? Oh my gosh, what's it got on it? Like I just I was like, what? How many hit points did I just get by equipping it? Oh. We are we're ready to go here. We're good. Hope being agnostic is a viable option. Yeah, it should be. I mean, you live without the love of a god. You will follow meh god of agnostics. Spongy McGee. Thank you for the follow. Spongy McGee, why does your name sound so familiar? Aren't the knights who say nay agnostic? That's a question for chat, not for me. I'm so bad at knowing stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Is it knee? Knee? Okay. Knights who say knee. Yeah. I don't think I've seen Holy Grail in like 30 years. Thanks for the correction, Liz. Liz, when you said you're going to post your latest work of the lace, I looked and I didn't see anything, and I don't want you to think that I was ignoring it. I didn't see it. I love this view of the castle from this side. You did and you tagged me. No, when you said you did and that you tagged me, I didn't see it anywhere because you said it that night that you tagged me and I didn't see it anywhere. And I forgot to mention that I didn't see it anywhere. Nothing. There is no notification. I looked. I could not find it anywhere. I mean, you can be insulted, but I am not going to accept responsibility for your hurt feelings on this one. Oh, there's still okay. Well, that's good because I did not. Make someone do an epic quest for that thing and make it a dud. We're gonna make it as elusive as the old Star Wars Galaxy's Jedi's. That wasn't true of the original Jedi's, was it? Boy, it's dusty up in here. Darren said I worked my ass off for that too. A couple months later, poof, everyone could start as a Jedi through my keyboard. Yeah. The team wasn't super happy as well. Is alchemy in yet? Not that I know of. Hey, Red Cloud. Can't wait to pick flowers. We don't have flower gathering in yet either. Boy, it's dusty up in here. That's how far I felt like I had traveled so far in that sandstorm. That's as far as I got. I need at least one ogre in a dress with flowers just cuz. Liz, I thought all your ogres were dudes. You sent me some recent pics. Okay, let's see. Perfect. Direct from... Oh! That's nice. Stonelistic said, I agree. When I worked with that team who decided to do that, you walked out. You were on the Swig team, Stonelistic? Did I know this? Can't a dude wear a dress? Not in our game so far that I know. Hasn't been a big priority. Man, making lace is crazy. For a bit while working at SOE, a while after I left. Well, I got on. I wound up in the SOE Austin studio after. Okay, after. After I was in SD. I am in Vale of Zintar, which is right on the other side of Fallen Pass. Comb the desert. Did Snap said, my friends and I had a fucking blasty blast this last playtest, and we went back in. Help. It's good to hear. Yeah, that's super nice. Thank you for letting us know. Is Vale of Zintar the largest zone in the game right now? It may be. There are a couple of dune textures like that where you can walk right through them. Couldn't get any screenshots of the locations because a giant rogue, a giant looking about. Yeah, this is just where we've got a new. I think we've got an old mesh overlaying a new mesh, maybe, or vice versa. If you slash bug it, apparently it takes the loc reference. It does. Liz, I gotta remember to show Jasmine this lace that you made. This guy is huge. Gotta figure out why he's goofing out. Why is he goofing out? He's doing the Running Man. He's sneaky because of his walking technique. It doesn't help that you're 1 foot tall, though. It's true. Cloud Spark, yes. Are each of those jitters at a go-to? Does it temporarily put him in an idle anim or something while recalculating his route? It could be. It's an interesting assessment. Here, let's load up the data and see what Nicodemus has been doing here with this guy, because I'm fairly certain it was Nicodemus. Shaded Dunes, sand giants walking around at night is the scariest thing in the game right now. That's good to hear. Unless you're saying that's not very scary, then that's that. Nope, it's not. I don't think it's his go-to. Wigging him out. You'd like to petition for more classes for ogres, please? I need more options. I do have some non-ogres as a result. You gotta let us get through early access. Once the game's going, I mean, you may see more race class combos unlock on the way to 1.0, but then definitely after 1.0. He disappeared. Does infravision work? I saw a lot of reports that it wasn't working as good, or it felt different, and honestly I haven't been paying enough attention behind the scenes to know if there was like some change. Yeah, I saw some complaints about it as well in OOC. Dev said it wasn't working as intended because of those changes to light that was made. That makes a lot of sense because we did make changes to lighting. It changes speed due to his height. Long strider. In theory, if he's animated properly, you shouldn't have to change the speed and the height. Or am I thinking about it wrong? It's a good question. I haven't been this stoked on a game in so many years. Is there anything we can do to help other than the normal of spreading the word around? I looked at ways doing it, sub, nothing at the moment. I mean, if you want to sub to some of the other folks that stream, definitely feel free, or I encourage you to support them. We're all basically working out of pocket. This is a volunteer effort. I don't take subs on this channel anymore because there's some concerns with like German tax law, so just to avoid it, I'd just rather not bring any money in. And so, and then in terms of the project itself, we're not taking any cash in any way at the moment. Like, I mean, in theory, the joke that not joke that we've said for years is if you're like Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk or something, and you've got a infinite pile of cash and you're a cool person, and you want to give us a nice chunk of money to blast out the rest of the game, but not be involved in any decisions at all, then that might be a worthwhile discussion. But aside from that, right now the best thing that people could do for us is what you've been doing, which is letting your people know, and grabbing friends and family and former guild mates and all that stuff and bring them in. So if you win the lottery, yeah, I mean, I forgot that we used to say that. This is not financial advice by any means. Please take this strictly as a joke. But if you're wanting to like donate money to us each month or something, just buy lottery tickets. And then if you win like $100 bajillion or whatever, then maybe we can talk. Loving how this area is shaping up. Simon's doing a great job. Yeah, no, he is. I'm going to just soon. We'll get into. I'm definitely going to provide some feedback on some of the scale stuff. Just because I think, again, we don't want to bite off more than we can chew. Don't want to be working on this forever. We got other zones we want to do. Is Veil of Zintar open yet, or still heavily being developed? It's open. It's just pretty empty in terms of content. Is the yellow stamina bar used for anything else aside from jumping? Not that I know of. Not yet. Not at the moment. I think jumping, maybe it. I don't know if it does swimming, Liz. I hesitated, but I don't think it does. Um, Last update email got me hyped. Will we see some new environment dev streams in the near future? Um, I from new people or just new dev streams? Gallifrey does sound like Gallifrey from Doctor Who. And Zoidberg, are you in our Discord as well, or do you tend to get your information from the email? I'm curious, how many people get their info from the... Maybe I'll run a poll. I haven't done a poll in forever. See if it still works. This overlay. So... Um... Okay, I've added a poll. I didn't look to see how long it's going to be up though. But I added a poll. What's up, Abominator? Okay. Is the poll's actually working, right? It says 17 unique votes. Is it just... It's feeding off chat, I assume. I've only used this, like... Cool. Here, I'll make it bigger if you can't read it. What's the options? So, are you a member of our 1, Discord, 2, mailing list, 3, both, 4, neither? The Lunatic, thank you for the follow. So it looks like the vast majority of people are subscribed to both. Pigborn said, looking forward to doing more crafting next test. Got my blacksmithing up to 50. Really want to hit some 10 nodes and make bronze items. Yeah, it's rad that here so many of you are actually enjoying getting in and gathering and crafting and stuff. This week went by so fast. Yeah, tell me about it. So I'm going to be gone. For those of you that weren't here earlier, I'm going to be gone next week. I'm going to be traveling next week, so no streams next week. We'll go Goblin Works and Pattis and Nick. Nice. The next stream will be 18th. Yeah, I think so. We'll see how the week goes, but the hope is the 18th. I need some Sow. I've got Sow on, Frizz. Beat of Wild activated. What's up, Fat Matt? Love spaghetti. I'm going to Texas or Florida. I'm going to... First, I'm going to Chicago. Then I'm going to Philly for 2 days. And then I'm going to Orlando for a day and a half. Then I'm going to Ocala, Florida for the remaining like 2 to 3 days. And then we're coming back. Where do I want to go to next? Yeah, let me check something in Follow Pass. I'm curious to see if it's working yet. I hardly use Discord because I play solo games so much. Matrix Hunter. So does that mean you don't follow us in Discord? Or you're not in our Discord? there's no wrong answer there. It's perfectly fine. If anything, it's nice to know that there are people not following us in Discord, but are on the mailing list, because we look at like our Discord numbers. We're creeping up on like 10,000 people in the Discord. And I think based on some question or survey I asked a while back, I think at least like 30% of the people on our mailing list are not in our Discord as well. So, and we've got we're like at 7,000 people on the mailing list. So, I mean, if we say there's 2,500 people that are on the mailing list, not in the Discord, so that puts us at a little over, 10,000, 11,000 people that have followed us in some way or another. That's pretty cool. That's good then. It's it's just good. It's good for us to kind of track the stats and stuff to get a rough feel for people that are interested in the game. A rough idea to know how many like cupcakes we should make when you guys all come to our party. Batman loves spaghetti. Do you want me to tell this will be kind of personal, sorry guys, I know do probably too much of that here. Do you want me to tell you what should be an endearing, not like a sad story? So nobody be like, oh, or make it sad or whatever. But it's okay to say no, then I won't tell the story. If you win the lottery, New York strips for everybody instead of cupcakes, deal. Okay. So, Fat Matt, it's kind of about spaghetti. And again, I'm not saying this to have anybody be like sad or awe or whatever. So, my dad, I think I've told the story in the past. When we had the skate park, my dad was there a ton, like working the counter or playing pinball. Looping like Black Sabbath music on our jukebox, constantly putting quarters in, constantly playing Crazy Train as well, right? I know it's not Sabbath. So anyways, my dad was like a staple in the skate park, right? In there sweeping up, cleaning, like helping, just sort of hold everything down. Dude invested a ton into making it happen. When I got out of the army, we opened a skate park in Alabama, and did that for a couple years. Anyways, all the kids called my dad because his name was Matt. Called him Fat Matt, and my dad, like Fat Matt, like growing up with his parents, like my grandfather, and with him, it was like Sunday spaghetti was a staple. And so in honor of my dad, we're doing that now regularly, but like every Sunday spaghetti. And my dad would eat, because he was a huge dude. He would eat like 3 giant plates of spaghetti minimum, just huge. The amount of spaghetti we had to make in order to like fill that dude up. And it didn't fill him up. Like he'd eat half a gallon of ice cream afterwards, like. But dude was like 6'4". When he was getting out of the army, he was an air assault instructor for a few years, so he's running every day and stuff. He's just huge, like 260. Big guy. Shoveled spaghetti in his face. So Fat Matt loves spaghetti. When you first popped in years ago, like I think you've been here since 2020, I think. Because I swear we were in Stockholm when your name first came up. So you've been here for a while, I think. Anyways, wow, it sounds like my exact dinner, but I'm a foot shorter. Nice. Soberg said, must be a dad thing. My father eats enough spaghetti to make an Italian man blush. Yeah. So, anyways, when you came in, my mom was like, my mom. Let's talk about my dad now. I'm talking about my mom. My wife, also kind of she's kind of my mom. Born on the same day. Not the exact same year, but same day. They have the same birthday. There's that theory that we marry our parents. Oh, there she is. So Jasmine, who apparently does have internet at the hotel, was like, because I was like, Fat Matt Loves Spaghetti is in chat. So we started like wondering, is that secretly my dad who discovered the stream and is hanging out in there, right? And so again, this story is supposed to be kind of like a heartwarming, bittersweet thing. It's not meant to be like a sad thing or whatever. But I remember right after my dad died, Jasmine like made the comment of, we were talking and we were talking about streaming or something, and she was like, well, I guess if Fat Matt Loves Spaghetti doesn't show back up, then we'll finally know for sure, right? And it was kind of like one of those moments of like anticipation. So if you are my dad, that makes you a ghost, which makes you even cooler, because I think having a Twitch ghost is a pretty interesting thing. We put pork ribs. We put pork ribs if we have them left over in the sauce. Basically, banana trick. You know what? I've got a Meemaw on my mom's side of the family. On my dad's side of the family, it's a Nana. It's a Nana. But yeah, so on one hand, it was awesome to see you when you came back. First stream after all of that. On the flip side, we're like, oh, I guess it wasn't him. Couldn't fill those shoes, but I'm happy to hear there's another man who loves spaghetti. Yeah. Yep. I even mentioned you to my dad when we were visiting him. I just remembered. I told him basically that story when we were visiting him last year. So Jasmine was, did you get enough food? You guys were so behind schedule today. Those are some big shoes indeed. Yeah, he was a giant. Okay, let's see. I need to see if I've deactivated. I wonder if we fixed in code the problem that we're having. We're having a problem in code with extremely long go-tos, and given the size of our zones, it's not hard to make some extremely long go-to routes if you're feeling ambitious, which I often am. So that's one of the things I want to check right now. I don't know if it's been fixed, but for some reason I thought it had been fixed. Heinz Stark, thank you for the follow. Ratman looks sick. So we have, these are our were rats, and we're currently repurposing them as Ratmen as a placeholder. But we actually have a Ratman design that is extremely good as well. Concepted up. And we've yet to model them out and make them yet, but they will be coming. So then we'll have were rats and we'll have Ratmen. And then we'll do the good Ratman and the evil Ratman, the Morhua good, Skrivar evil. And then we'll have rare rats as well, which you'll see both here because there are definitely some were rats hanging out with the Ratmen. And then we'll also have eventually, very likely, some very cute mouse men. Isn't the lore something like the Skrivar enslaved the other race of rat people? What makes you ask? Based on something I said or something you saw in game? Jasmine said we had some goulash and spätzle. If it runs that much behind schedule, I'll have to bail at some point to catch my train. Tomorrow? Speaking of grandparents, when the term meme first came about, I was real confused why people were pronouncing it the way they did, because we called my grandmother Mimi, but it was spelled meme. Oh, that's cute. I did not make that Mimi. I did not share that Mimi. Yeah, I had a Mimo, not a Mimi. I love that there are all those names, though. You briefly talked about why the two races exist, or coexist, and it's done a few months back. Okay, yeah. Yeah, the Skrivar, they definitely, so without going into too much detail, the Skrivar definitely like enslave and utilize the Marhua, and the Marhua have the ability to do certain things that the Skrivar can't, and that's why. So, Jasmine Liz says, "Much love for supporting your man making this game. We are all way eager to play." Speaking of which, let me forward you this incredible lace that Liz is working on. I'll send it to you via Discord, Jasmine. If I can scroll down, there you are. Now you're craving spaghetti. Yeah. I've been a big fan of our Sunday spaghetti nights recently. It's been nice. John said, "I'm jealous of people that knew their grandparents. I only knew one, and she died when I was a teen." Yeah, it's interesting. It's like, here we go. All right, let's see how far the guy goes. Wait, he's coming back? Did he do his whole route? Maybe it is fixed. I guess we'll see. Yeah, that's an interesting one, right? Like, I've never really considered that. For as much as I moved around my whole life, I feel like I was kind of blessed to be able to spend a good amount of time with my grandparents. My problem was I did not fully appreciate. I didn't fully appreciate their point of view or their attitudes or what they did for us at the time, and now I'm kind of like, oh man, I wish I could go back and have a conversation. I had one of my grandfathers. Well, they're both pretty old school and pretty strict, but one of them's like real strict. He was executive at Florida Power, and he was the executive in charge of whenever there is an emergency. So if like, man, the new armor's looking great. So when there was, when there is a situation where there's like a hurricane, I know that rarely happens in Florida. He was like the guy that had to make sure they had contingencies and all that stuff ready to go. And then he'd be in charge of deployment and all of that. And dude, he was a child of the Great Depression. Lord of Power. He was the Lord of Power. Child of the Great Depression, shit like that. And so he was very much, he was very thrifty, and despite having cash and all this stuff, and very structured and very strict and very traditional. And I just didn't get it as a kid. I hated it as a teen. And now I'm like, man, I wish I could actually chat with that dude more. Fearbox is asking about being able to play. Yeah, we just ran a stress test. We just ran a stress test. We'll be running more tests in the future. but we don't have like a clear ETA for you. But we're trying to run them. You know, we're trying to keep them relatively regular. The thing that we have to contend with is, and we were just talking about this. It's great to get you guys in. It's great to stress test stuff with real people and get that information. It's invaluable to us. It's cool to get the feedback, but there's so much stuff that we know is not where we want it to be, whether it be like on the content side or certain systems or gameplay or whatever. And we're kind of afraid if we stress test too often and you guys aren't seeing some of that shit get fixed, then you're gonna get a little wary or be a little bummed on us. And if we're focused on other stuff at the time and we're not addressing those things, then right, like we don't want you to get burned out on the game. We don't want you to get bummed on us not fixing certain things that are important to you but just aren't a priority for us. So yeah. Stress test also helps trust the team when things break. Honestly, it hasn't been bad for us, guys. It's been a huge net positive. Liz said my grandfather died way too early. I miss him so bad, but my gran and I still did every summer. And while she's been gone about 20 years now, she got to be a good old age. It sounds like my parents were super young when they had me. Sounds like your parents might have been a little bit older. My parents were 17 when they had me, so I got some decent grandparent time in. Zoeberg says my grandfather died when I was young, but he was a big woodworker, which I am now. I wish I could talk to him about it and lend me my dollars. Oh yeah. Yeah, it's weird. I wasn't like, I had a lot of good opportunities with my grandparents. But I wasn't like super close, you would say. Like I didn't, I wasn't good about like contacting them or whatever. It's like if we were vacationing or if we were down there or something like that. And it wasn't until afterwards where it kind of sank in. It was like, oh man, I wish I would have utilized that time better. And so my dad dying, I think, is the first. I think that's been the first one where it's like, okay, now I get it. Like I get that sort of feeling of, man, I wish we had more time to talk or whatever. That just wasn't there for me prior to him dying. Cool, Felix is making it. How many zones do you think will be live if you had to guess? Can you do 1 to 60 in the starting area? We can do 1 to 60 in the starting area. Yeah, so with the zones that we've got populated now, I would say there's some placeholder, like we're refining some of the stuff that's just kind of strictly placeholder to be playable, representative content, but you could, you can, I don't know if it's 100% true that you could 1 to 60 this very moment, but it's pretty damn close. You think it's a Doug for now? Nope. Felix is actually Felix. He is, this guy, don't let him being human fool you. You can 1 to 60 for sure? Okay, Nick confirmed it. Yeah, I didn't want to misspeak. I was like, I thought we did. You mean this very moment, not by EA, right, Nick? How many zones though, would you guess? We've got them listed here. Check this out. Have you... Oh, cool, okay. Nick said during Friends and Family, somebody got to 55. Fearbox. Click that link. Yeah, so, I mean, we've put in... Oh, I forgot that we've got, like... Those dudes are higher level in glass flats as well. I'd have to look at our list, I guess. like I'm so all over the place that I, even on this game, you know how you ask questions about like other games or EQ or whatever, and I'm like, I don't remember. There's already shit that I've put in the game here that I couldn't tell you specifically like what level it was or whatever. That's why we write stuff down. Let me see what that path would actually look like. How many zones though is, I think zones is a tricky thing, right? Like, so when you're asking about a zone, the zone list that we put up there for early access, I think is something like 12, 13, 14. I forget what's on the actual web page. But a zone is not a zone is a zone, right? Like this zone's probably got what you would consider a zone's worth. It's got like 3 zones worth of camps and content in it. And then we'll put in, we've got some mini dungeons in. We'll be putting in many more. And I mean, because just look, this is just this camp over here, this area over here. We're not going to explore it fully, but just this area over here is as much as a small dungeon in like EverQuest or something, right? And then look over there. That's a whole different, like you can see that way over there. Those 3 pillars, not counting going up the platform and up the, you know, the going, you know, up towards the other camp that we started at with this guy. That's easily a little, that's an unrest. That's a crush bone. Just right there, right? So a zone is not a zone is not a zone. We'll have some zones that'll be tiny, and then we'll have some that are... Did he walk off or depop? But I saw him walking back a minute ago. Seawall, thank you for the follow. Looks like high hold. Yeah, definitely some inspiration. Thanks for the follow, Fearbox. Between what we have now and what we promised for EA, I think we're at 17 zones already. Nice. Nice. And that is with a zone is a zone, right? Like that's just a strict number. In terms of the number of zones worth of content, if we've got 17, would it be weird to say that we've got 20 to mid 20s zones worth of content that if we hit that full list will be available? And that's the thing, as we're working through early access to 1.0, we're wanting to make a pretty big world, right? Based on the same sort of approach, right? Like ensuring that we've got these zones with crazy views and big interesting points of interest, you know, and some will just be a lot more chill, some will be a lot more like shaded dunes and stuff. Some EQ zones were almost the size of a house. Your zones are more like a county. I like that. I like that analogy. All right, 45 people participated in the poll, and it looks like the vast majority of people are in both the mailing list and Discord. Cool. Hey, late free. 17 zones right now, or 17 zones planned for EA? Planned for EA. So we saw him make it back, but I'm just going to follow him for completeness sake. This is helpful because this is a pretty long path. So the fact that he's pulling it off now is great. And it's less of a spoiler than one of the other ones that we've got in game. So I'd rather prove it with him and then let Ali know. Dude, I am tired. I am like eyes are sore level of tired right now. Will there be availability for race change at some point? I want to play Deep Elf SK, but we'll play human at start, not to lose any time. I'm not a fan of that idea. I'd rather you have to just start over. Sorry. Maybe the team will say that that's lame, but that's where I would stand on it. That's part of the fun of playing in early access. Re-rolling. Getting a new experience. You don't want to lose. You don't want to lose. And yeah, it's just a cleaner, easier solution. Nothing to be sorry about. I like that. I like your response. Nothing to be sorry about, brother. I get it. Cool. Pegborn asks, after last test, has anyone figured out why we sometimes get stuck when zoning? Character's name would gray out and you had to log to fix it. I haven't heard a definitive answer on that. I don't know if John or Nick have. Nick said it's some kind of race condition we believe may be, we believe we may have some leads on it. Who's doing the network code at the moment? That is primarily Ali, and he's working with a couple of the other guys on that. Oh man, the more time I've spent in the zone, the more I've really grown to like this zone. Gonna run through here soon. I'm gonna run through here, but it'll probably be after next week when I'm back from traveling. Gonna run through here with Nick and look at like the classes that we've got at play in here and talk about tweaks that we may want to do there. Make sure that the various mobs get some good abilities on them and things like that. But so for those of you that have been in here and you've been cheesing like the boneyard and stuff, and the necromancers aren't casting on you and shit's, I'll just say things have been a little easy. So next time you get in here, hopefully things will kill you even more. Yes, Hindo, that would be you. Any news on trolls? The race, not the activity. No news on trolls. But there is news. We just added a third person to the character art team. What level range is this whole Screevar area? Is it a spoil? Excuse me. Is it a spoiler if I tell you? Would it be better if you guys figure it out naturally? Yeah, we just added a third guy. This next update will be Jasmine said checking out the gym now. Is the hotel gym cool? You'll have to let us know. Yeah, so we just added a third character guy. We added 2 people on the environment side. So Chinny D and Bjorn, our wonderful dwarf Bjorn, have both joined us on the environment side, and the gentleman named B9/Brandon joined us on. He had applied for an environment role, but then we saw his portfolio, and he's got like 10, 12, I don't even actually know exactly, years of character art, 3D character art development, and 2D concept work and stuff like that, and it looked great. So we're like, you sure you don't want to just join us on the character side instead? So we spent some time working with him. He made a new guy for us, but you're not going to see that guy anytime soon. I don't know, unless somebody sneaks and slips and shows you, but I'm not going to show you. Yeah, so that's really cool. So that's a nice addition to the character side, where we've had Zukin, we've had Zach, and Goblin's been helping out there with textures and things like that. So let's see. And we have a new role that we're going to be posting that maybe I'll bounce off you before the end of the stream. What's up, Bill? Yeah, I was showing people the whole sword thing earlier in the stream. Hindo said, to be honest though, the necromancer adept mobs were already so much higher than anything else in the pit. So I would pick them up and dump them on the mercenaries prior to clearing them from the field and open up that spawn count. Maybe we need to bring that in line then. Jasmine, are you going to work out tonight before bed, or are you going to try to wake up early in the morning and do it? I assume the plan is wake up early and do it. Will races start in their respective home cities once they're all available, Borluck? There'll be some opportunity for players to start in cities that aren't their home city, and there will be some cities that are a bit mixed. But yeah, that's the plan, is for by 1.0 for every race to have its own city in flavorful region. Batman says, I prefer exploring it myself, but I know there are some gamers. That was 400-minute guide on how to breathe and push buttons while playing your game. That wants a 400-minute. I see what you're saying. Jasmine's on the treadmill now at 10 p.m. All right. I guess you're not that tired then. So 2 questions on a similar theme. Malkale, thank you for the follow. Let me hit those. So Dargith asked, this is perhaps putting the cart before the horse. I'm gonna go ahead and hide the poll now. So that, or I'll shrink it down so you guys get a better view of the background. Dargith asks, this is perhaps putting the cart before the horse, but what happens to the team post-launch if the revenue doesn't support bringing everyone on payroll? That's up to the team more than it is some kind of external factor that's driving our approach there. So we're volunteering our time for this project, right? So we're paying out of pocket for our expenses. We do have expenses. We probably spend about $2,000 a month on various expenses. If you haven't seen it yet, if you're interested in the details of our expenses, go to this link that I just posted, early access. Go to the bottom. Not only does that link provide you with roadmaps and insight into like the history of the project and all that, we break down everything we've spent to date, like all the money that we've spent up until the posting. We've got to update that soon. And we do a little pie chart that shows you allocation of the money, you know, where we've spent it. And our hope is as we've got revenue coming in, we're just going to regularly update similar data more regularly than we currently are. And we'll just let you know like where our money's going, right? We'll tell you how many subs we have. We'll tell you, you know, of the money that's coming in from like subs, if we've got a tip jar, merch. We'll show you how that revenue is basically being divided up and allocated. So that you can continue to be a part of the process, right? This whole thing started as a discussion of like game development and wanting to take you on a journey of building an indie MMO and being very transparent. So that'll be a continuation of it. Stinkhunt, thank you for the follow as well. So to answer your question specifically, Dargus, the fact that we're currently like we're not getting paid means that if we go into EA and there's not a lot of revenue, then it doesn't change our situation beyond the fact that we've got more revenue coming in then, even with not a lot of revenue, than we've had for the last 4 years, right? So it could be that if we go into early access and you guys are just like, the honeymoon's over, you guys are bummed on it. You're like, oh, all this shit that we thought was going to be totally different, right? Like, oh, we thought everything was going to look different or play different or whatever. But now it's what we've been playing the whole time. Oh yeah, Dargus. It's a worst ever quest, right? Like, then we may find that, you know, we're sitting here and we've got like 5 people playing the game. That would then be, I think, a decision point for the team as individuals, not as a whole team, unless all the individuals on the team feel this way. At any point in this process, you know, it's a volunteer team. If people are like, if the team doesn't feel like we're making the right progress, we're not organized, we're making decisions they don't agree with, all that shit, then yeah, I could see how people can say, hey, I'm not into it and bail, and I think they should. But our situation is, if we've only got 5 subscribers when we go into early access, then the question should be for people that are on the team is like, hey, do we still feel up to like continuing to grind, to fix the things that aren't working, to improve that number? Can we get that 5 subscriber count to 10? Can we hit 100? Right? Can we get 200? And so that's what's going to happen if we don't have a lot of revenue. Now on the flip side, Zlad Supersonic asked, if your game suddenly blows up like Vampire Survivors or Balatro and sells millions of copies, do you think you'll be able to handle that situation? That is actually a tougher situation for us. And so we've got to have a certain level of discipline in looking at possible unexpected success scenarios. So the things we can't do is we can't grow the team bigger than what we can handle culturally or management wise. We just can't do it. So if we don't have 5 subscribers, but instead we have 500,000 subscribers, I would say the biggest priority for us, first and foremost, with 500,000 subscribers or 5 million, you know, as you say, or whatever, is ensuring that we've got a handle on where we're going to put them, and we've got customer service capable of managing the quality of the service for them. Because everything else we do, like if we make another zone with more Ratmans, well then, you know, 5 people can enjoy that or 500,000 people can enjoy that, right? So that scales. But the quality of the service is one where we want to make sure that we've got a good plan in place for rapid scaling, and we have a good understanding of what happens what happens if instead of 5 subscribers we have 500,000, but we only have 500,000 for the first month, and then after that we have 5,000, or we're down to 5. And that's one of the things that we've actually talked about on the team, a few times, and we'll talk about it more before early access. Because what we can't do is we're making the game that we're making, and we've had a certain direction for the game in mind for years, and we've been really consistent in our approach to what we're making, and we're and we're committed to making a specific game. If we suddenly get like 500 times the people that we anticipated, we've been saying for years, hey, if we get a few thousand subscribers, awesome, we're good. We'll build a business over time over that. If we get 1,000 subs, then we're gonna work really hard to try to earn 1,500 and 2,000 and 4,000, and we're just gonna keep working until we've got the game that you know people are into. Or we'll find that, hey man, we're capped out. Like, we've made a very niche game, and 1,000 people, that's it, right? And then we'll have a discussion about that, and we'll go, all right, so what does that mean? Do we want to keep doing this? Is that fine? You know, um, but the thing that we've got to watch out for is if we get 5,000 or 500,000, and all of a sudden, oops, those people drop off, right? It's the standard long tail. Hype hits, and then they churn because they're like, oh, fuck, there's corpse runs. I hate the merchant thing. I'm lost in Night Harbor. The quests are too obtuse. Where's my tutorial? Fucking tab targeting. Right? Like, if that happens and they break off, what we can't do is we can't. They don't like the robot guy for sure. Like all that stuff. Gnomes are in the game. What we can't do, and I've seen this happen in corporate environments. We can't go. We were planning on this level of success. We had an initial response of like 10x that level, but then we landed on 2x where we thought we were going to be. Quick, everybody, knee jerk, let's change everything, right? Like, because then what we'd be doing is, looking at it and going, oh, well, if we had just made this change and that change, they wouldn't have quit. And next thing you know, it's a different game than what we intended to make. And that would be a shame. Right? So I think, success scenarios are awesome to think about, and we need to prepare for the potential of success beyond like what we think is realistic, and we'll be polling, we'll be checking engagement and all that stuff before we go into early access, but we need to be prepared for it just to make sure that shit doesn't break. And we may have to do some stuff, like we may have to turn off accepting new subscriptions, right? Like if there is all of a sudden a level of success that we didn't think was possible or whatever, we may have to just say, hey, sorry, if you really want to play the game, you're going to have to come back in a bit. So that's possible. So anyways, that's my answer to that, Vlad. Or sorry, Vlad. $17 people playing, pulling them Concord numbers. Yeah, I think we've already had at least one stress test that beat their numbers. Poor guys. That's why I think it would be cool to, it'd be cool to come out and have like just a solid following, and then have that grow over time, and have our processes and operations and stuff mature as the player base continues to grow. That I think would be a really good scenario for us. There are a few thousand players on P99 at any given time who have been playing for years. Yeah, I mean, we've got some data that we're looking at that give us a rough idea of what we think we could expect. Too many subs make corpse runs more inconvenient and mana regen slower, so it hits the target. That's always an approach to Zakar. Benign Infection asks, hey Sean, I had a question. What are plans for new players once the game is more mature and a large chunk of players are level capped? Benign, we'll be incorporating systems that allow for a bit more like horizontal progression things to do. There'll always be a little more content going in and new expeditions, new things for those players to do over time. But there's also just kind of the reality of, and this may change over time, but to date we've discussed a fair number of times the reality of the server hitting a level of maturation where people are kind of at the cap, and if they're not interested in rolling our alts, they're not interested in the live events that are happening or the bit of content that's coming in, then really the question is, are they going to be interested in potentially hitting like a TLP or a new server? And then for those TLPs or new servers, we might be exploring different rule sets and things like that. But to date, we haven't discussed seriously discussed the option of, infinite growth and, like people logging in and seeing, oh, wow, there's 200 levels instead of 60, that kind of thing. So it's honestly, P99 and EQ Live, like TLPs, have been really interesting examples in that area. So I think I hope a lot of companies have looked at those, looked at P99's longevity and looked at EQ Lives, and now WoW sort of approached the TLP and stuff like that, and really taken some things away from it. Okay, let me check something. If there's any critical response to. Would you guys be interested in hearing about? I'm gonna do this because I'm gonna try to get this posted before I go out of town, and then we'll be responding. We'll be responding to applications and stuff, just kind of as we can over that week, and then getting back to people in the next couple of weeks. But I had just posted. The only hesitation is I want to make sure that the team has had a chance to kind of absorb it. But I mean, unless there's something critical we missed, we're going to be moving forward with it. Hendo says, I used to really enjoy TLPs and EverQuest, but I think I probably hit my last one I ever played this year. Between the absurdity of the economy revolving strictly around Chrono and most people not willing to sell outside of Chrono and dealing with all the farmers just isn't fun. I had such a great time on Aradune. For me the pace is the pace was just a little bit faster than I would have liked. And I just kind of got lost in the mix there. And I gotta say, on one hand, it was nice buying all the XP potions and stuff like that. On the other hand, there is something I'm not the biggest fan of like the cosmetics running around and not the biggest fan of the cosmetics. And yeah, it's just a little different. But, you know, not to get the P99 guys in trouble or whatever if any of the EQ folks are listening, but man, I tell you, the prospect of a brand new P99, and we've been talking about, I mean, we were talking about that the end of last year, right? Like, I don't know. Maybe they got told they can't make another one or something. I don't know what the holdup is. Like Project Quorum is good, but I just, there's something about like the P99 that I think would be it for me in terms of like getting in and having like trying to chop out a little bit of time and actually be a part of a new community. And yeah, pretty sure P99 team have thrown in a towel. You probably know more than I do on that front. Like I haven't really inquired or whatever. Yeah, well that's a shame. The little bit of time that I spent on P99, I found it enjoyable. Yeah, if P99 dropped a new server, I'd probably play that over any new TLP. Exactly, Hendo. Liz said my EQ bubble burst when I had to cancel my subs for a bit due to being broke. Got confirmation emails. Sony then took the money anyway. Wouldn't give it back despite showing them confirmation. Oh, that's a pain in the ass. There was somebody said I missed it. I think I saw it, but somebody said something about where are you? Somebody's asking or saying something about the stress test last weekend. I think I missed it. Do we have any plans to add more programmers to the team? Not at the moment, but always keep your eye out on that. Be sure you're a part of our Discord. It doesn't hurt for you to be somebody that we kind of see around and know is not a crazy person. I don't see it. Somebody popped in, said something about the play test or the stress test, and I was gonna respond and then I lost it. Will there be combat music? No plans for combat music at the moment that I know of. Paradise said it was me. I hope to make the next playtest. We hope you make it as well. Hey, Blue Queen of Dragons. What's up? Jasmine, are you still on the treadmill? Dargis, if we add it, it'll be a toggle. I can't be bothered with a toggle. What a grump. 4 more minutes to go. Slow down to walking for that. Did you get your sprints in? Were they sprints? Are you sprinting without me, Jasmine? Okay. Liz, you were right. We were talking potentially a new role. No sprints, Jasmine? Oh, man. Chicken. Are you sprinting without me was not a euphemism. All right, so I'm finishing the poll. 61% of the people, that's 32 votes, are in both Discord and the mailing list. Cool. That was handy. Jasmine said my max was 8 kilometers an hour with a 1% incline. So just kind of like a casual stroll, huh? Curiously, if you were open to another programmer role, what would you be looking into for choosing the next person? I mean, aside from the specific programming background for whatever the role is, we have a pretty kind of we have a pretty specific attitude on the team. I mean, the team's got a personality. So I think anybody applying for any roles on the team really should have a good feel for who we are in like Discord and things like that. Watch the streams. You know, I think every company is like, we're proud of our culture, and culture is, it's there. Everybody talks about their culture, but I've seen so many just weird ass like company cultures. Whereas I think it's just we're, yeah, we get along in a very good, as far as I can tell. I don't know. Maybe this isn't true. Maybe I'm lying. But we get along well, and we've got a really nice vibe behind the scenes, and we want to make sure people plug into that well. So culture is almost just a buzzword. Yeah, I think that's why I hate to say it, but I mean it's true. Sorry. On one hand, like companies are always like, oh, they talk about culture a lot, but they also talk about like, and everybody should fit in. Well, you can't have a culture if everybody can fit in. The reality is you got to fit in with us. How's that? That probably hurts to understand. what that is like. Darga said, I'm a dev manager, scrum master, PM by trade, for better or worse. I'll whip you all into shabby shape if you want. You sound like a worse version of a producer. You're just a worse version of a producer. That's technically my title now. All right. So, anyways, roll before worst producer too. Liz, weirdness would not be the problem. If you like, you can always be our number one fan. Oh. No but. All right, so roll. I will share it. And then we'll probably use that to sort of round out the stream, the discussion of it. And hopefully nobody on the team takes offense that I'm sharing this before they've had a chance to fire back any concerns or whatever. Let me go to the next part of this song where it chills out. Okay, so this will be the role that we will be posting very soon. And I'm going to read this out to you. I'm going to read this out to you word for word. And it may change. The actual post itself may change before we post it. But I figured I'll read it out to you. And I'm not going to answer a bunch of questions on it because it's inherent to what the post is. But we will make you aware of it. And you'll understand what I mean by this by the time we get done with it. All right? Are we good? You guys ready? Hey, White Bandit. So we're going to be looking for an editor and writer. And here we go. All right, so specific to this role, we typically try to provide thorough feedback on every submission we receive. Given the nature of this role and the potential for us to receive a high number of submissions that don't match our needs, we will only provide limited feedback. This will likely appear as something similar to, "Thank you for applying, but your submission does not match our needs." Please don't take this as being unkind. We're in the middle of a lot of work, and this is a very difficult role to select for. It is possible that we go for a long time without selecting anyone, or we may close the role altogether if we don't feel we're seeing what we need. Also, we only bring people onto the team after getting a very good feel for their personality and fit. This may take 2 months or 2 weeks. We never know. Finally, this is not a role for people who like to write the occasional story, quest idea, or have opinions about design/lore who are just looking for a way onto the team. We need people who are serious about grammar, fastidiously scan text for errors, understand voice, characterization, dialogue, flow, and happen to be nerdy enough to come up with excellent, concise room description while tolerating the fact that I write sentences like this. A lot of preamble to state you're going to gaslight applicants. What's gaslighting about that? I'm not completely up to date on the latest victim terminology. How would I be gaslighting somebody by saying, you are no-go at this station? Lich. Pineapple. Another note on time commitment. This is fairly standard for us. Our team is made up of volunteers that work in our spare time. Folks have families, jobs, concert tours. Robert is currently on a concert tour and or other responsibilities. We take vacations and have random stuff pop up. That said, the team consistently engages with the project and dedicates significant amounts of their spare time. This is not a club in which the goal is to get on the team and then hang out in Discord. Getting on the team is when the work starts. We've got a big project ahead of us, and we're very serious about making it happen. If you love what we're doing and are excited to help, but are not in a position to dedicate real time to the work that needs to be done, we'd love for you to be/stay a part of the community, but now is likely not the time to join us. We're very serious about this one. We need to make sure that when people get on the team, they've already figured out in advance that they got enough time to dedicate to it, and they're able to maintain that. Because it's always a bummer to get people excited about a new team member, and then a week later or a month later, they realize, oh shit, I have kids and stuff to do. Yeah, of course. All right, so this role. Ensure that our player-facing writing is free of grammar and spelling issues. Ensure that our writing presents a consistent tone and solid characterization. Identify ways to make our writing more concise and effective. Work with team members in a pleasant and productive manner to assist them in improving on recurring issues you may notice. Assist in the maintenance of our internal confluence by cleaning up entries, making new entries out of notes, etc. Assist in the development of player-facing text. See below. Potentially assist in implementing the type of text referenced in the previous bullet. Note, we are an apolitical company focused on classic fantasy themes and tropes, not activism or subverting expectations. When in doubt, err on the side of Frazetta, Gygax, and Tolkien. Our orcs do not have wives and kids. Some evil killing machines exist only to kill. It's okay for evil to be evil, good to be good, and nuance to be a spice and not the main dish. We take all of the above very seriously, understanding this is a firm requirement for the role. Qualifications. Demonstrably capable of ensuring our writing is excellent. An extremely high attention to detail and love of this type of work. Exceptionally proactive, self-managed, team and solution-oriented, and patient. Must have very strong understanding of classic MMORPGs and RPGs, their audiences, their content design, and their constraints. It's not enough to chat. Don't get crazy now. Let's not attack any groups or point any fingers. It's written the way it's written. It speaks for itself. But this editor and writer needs to understand, like, if you've played a classic MMO, you get the limitations of the platform, I guess, that this is being delivered in. Just so that we don't have people coming in like, yeah, we'll see that. Anyways, they won't make it through the initial stages, right? We're not here to write like a Robert Jordan novel every time you hail an NPC. Must be familiar with and able to deconstruct / speak to classic tabletop role-playing game module design. If you've never thought about this one before, take some time and figure it out before submitting your work. There's a lot of gold in those old room descriptions and the amount of information they would pack in a module. So nice to have a love of classic MMORPGs, pen and paper games, and 70s, 80s fantasy art. I guess just fantasy in general. I should change that to say. Experience as a professional editor, experience as a professional writer, text adventure, game, and MUD experience. Compensation, we were talking about this earlier. We are all currently working on this as a passion project with no immediate comp. Profit sharing and or equity options do exist. We do not make exclusive demands on your time while in the proof of concept stage. You're still free to take on other work so long as their NDAs or non-competes do not impact our work together. When we transition from the proof of concept phase to full funding, the role will be compensated at terms to be negotiated. So it's essentially later on when there's cash. Though I could probably update that a little bit to be a little bit clearer. When there's cash, then we'll deal with that then. All right, so your submission. Make sure you've read this entire page thoroughly. There is an expectation that you identify and familiarize yourself with any terms that are new to you here. Example, agrotext and / or Eminem specific NPC / terms without our assistance. This information exists. There are people on the team now actually that have done a fantastic job of going through old VODs, running through our Discord, looking at various streams and coming up with some pretty thorough, like, they know a lot about our game behind the scenes just from everything we've exposed. We expect somebody applying for this will do the same. Provide us with a PDF that includes a cover sheet describing background and what interests you in the project and what you know about the team. Provide a document with samples of the following: aggro, victory, and death blurbs, 3 each for the following NPCs: a Night Harbor Patrolman, an M&M Goblin, an M&M Ogre Mercenary, a Spider, an M&M God of your choosing. Mud actions that help us get immersed in a storage room, a wizard's lair, a 5-room haunted house, your favorite M&M point of interest. Liz, why wouldn't it say frottage? Pirate says the spider dies. Yes. Gah. Okay, we'll see. A 3 interaction dialogue exchange, prompts and responses with a corrupt Night Harbor guard, the dwarf that assists the guild leader of the Lamplighters, a feisty fishwife, a charming NPC, a charming halfling NPC, an M&M ogre, blacksmith, Stumpy the Whistler. Identify 7 errors present in this role posting. Last note, we are not a quest-driven game, so the items above will encompass a fair bit of the type of work you'll be doing when you're not editing other people's work. However, we do have quests and you will assist in writing original content. Our text is meant to be extremely concise and effective. We are not writing novels here. Good luck and thanks for your interest. So, a lot of people said it should be frontage. No, the word is frottage. All right. There we go. Does this mean we should be submitting spelling errors and typos as bug reports? When you're in game, if you want to, definitely do it. You can use the bug tool. We've got typos and grammatical errors. Just put them in here. Yeah, we've got a few categories here, and it does help us if you use the right categories. Broken Quest, with subcategories, though the text is kind of bunched up these days. Broken Quest, hand in not working, items taken, no reward granted, wrong quest, reward given, other. If possible, please have the problematic NPC targeted when submitting this report. It'll actually give us the NPC's info if you've got them targeted. See you, Sirenth. Thank you very much. Thank you. Be safe grabbing the kid. Broken item. So item cannot be equipped, has the wrong or incorrect graphic. Item has incorrect stats. Other. Broken spawn. NPC spawning at the wrong location. NPC's not spawning. Gives you nice feedback. It's likely not broken. Keep waiting. NPC behavior. Trade skills. So, yeah, this got messed up in the new UI. We'll have to that's kind of meta. Let me put this in the bug discussion. Later, Unchained. Did I miss anything important, or were you guys just kind of like goofing off up here? How far along do you think you'll need to be into the project before you might need someone with cybersecurity experience? We've got some people that are working with us on that front in Crypt, but that's something you can always ping Ollie on in Discord. How do I fill out a bug report if there's a bug in the bug report? You just got to pick the right subcategory. Bug to bug report. What's correct option for jerk-ass skeleton keeps aggro me and dueling my skeleton when I go to the necropolis? I think you should. I think you should keep that one to yourself. Bug inside the bug, classic. It's bugs all the way down. There are some people. There are some people that were asking about when this is going to get posted. We'll get it posted up on the website and linked in the Discord tomorrow. We'll have that role posted tomorrow. I thought for sure I could make it. All right, so I am exhausted, guys. We got up really early this morning so Jasmine could hop on a train. And I think what I'll probably wind up doing then is probably wrap up. What faction are Night Harbor Guards? They are Night Harbor faction. Probably wrap up the stream and, you know what I mean? Like, just kind of chill for tonight. I still got to make the dog food because Jasmine's not here to do it. And, yeah. I'm beat. We got up really early this morning. So I think I may wrap this up. I don't know if anybody from the team's streaming at the moment. Do you see anybody? Yeah, stupid early train this morning. I'm a dog chef? No, Jasmine's. I do all the people cooking. Jasmine does all the dog cooking. Or for the dog, I guess is a better way to say that. But yeah, I'm going to wrap up. And then that'll give me an opportunity to maybe chat with Jasmine before we go to bed. And since she is away at training today and most of tomorrow. And then I will see you guys. I love you too, Lich. You too, Paisal. Thanks for putting up with our shit. Listen, it's a pleasure to have you guys here. It's nice that you're even here. But I'll be back probably on the 18th. And yeah, we'll try to have a safe trip, and we'll see you guys. We'll see you guys after you get back. All right, now I'm gonna say good night to everybody. Encrypt, you're welcome. Have a good night. Monotonous. Kegborn, chili sauce, thank you. Razorblade, you're very welcome. Thanks for being here. Later, Darius. XB, see you. You're welcome. Later, Nicodemus. Checks. Possum. Lich, he's a big softie. He's just salty. Kegborn, see you. Hindo, thank you. See you, John. Ishwatare, vielen Dank. Bis bald. One more look at the sword. I'll let you. We'll end it with the glorious sword in sight. The sword of perfection. We've got other people streaming Tupac, and we've got all the VODs up as well. So you can grab those. We've got a lot of VODs going up now. Defiant, you have a good weekend as well. And let's see. Good night, Liz. Yeah, keep an eye out for another picture. I'll forward it over to Jasmine as well. Showing her your masterful work. See you, Dragon. Brother Lunchbox says, I've been watched a lot of your interviews with the former UQ devs. They're so good. Yeah, if anybody's hasn't seen those, you can check those out as well. They are right here. Okay, guys. It's been a pleasure. It's always awesome to know that you guys are interested in the project and down to check things out. Thanks for being here. Be safe this weekend and over the next week. I'll see you on the 18th. And yeah. Cool. I think that's it. Good night, friends. Job posting will go up tomorrow. Tough Frag Dad, yeah, you got here just in time to listen to sign off. It happens to people all the time, and it sucks. It's a bummer, but yeah. Hey Liz, thank you for that. I'm sure it'll go. It'll go well. We'll get all the stats out of the way, and that'll be that. And then yeah. So, but thank you. Tangent is streaming. What is he streaming? I don't want to hit him with some random Eminem crew if he's streaming something crazy. Is he streaming EverQuest? Streaming Space Marines 2. You guys, just, I don't even know how to do the shout out thing, but you know where to find them. Look for Tangent if you're interested in Space Marines 2. And I'm calling it a night. If you do go in there, tell them we said hi. I didn't want to raid them and like interrupt them or anything like that. So, all right. Hey, I'll see you. All right, I'm hitting the button for real now. Bye, guys. Have a good one. I will see you in a week or so.